All right, let's talk about something that's on everyone's mind, AI. But we're not going to talk about the usual stuff. We're digging into something much, much deeper. How AI is completely rewriting the rules of what it even means to be an expert. And here's the twist. It turns out the biggest threat AI poses to our careers might also be its greatest gift. It's a wild idea, I know, so let's unpack it.
Okay, so here's what we've got lined up. We're going to start with a huge, hidden problem that AI is creating. Then we'll get into this kind of weird paradox about knowledge itself. After that, we'll see how AI could flip the script and become the ultimate coach, and what happens when everyone gets good. Finally, we'll look at the rise of a totally new kind of expert.
You know, for the past year or so, every time you hear about AI and learning, it's all about, oh no, students are going to cheat on their homework. But honestly, that's missing the point. The real danger, the one we should actually be talking about, isn't in the classroom. It's what happens right after you graduate.
Yeah, exactly. This quote just nails it. The real issue isn't about essays, it's about this unspoken system, this apprenticeship model that we've relied on for centuries to turn rookies into pros. And AI is quietly, maybe accidentally, starting to pull it apart at the seams. I mean, you know how it's always worked, right? You start at the bottom, you're the intern, the apprentice, the junior associate, you do the grunt work, you mess up, and you learn from someone who's been there and done that. But what happens now? A manager can just toss that same basic task to an AI. It's faster, it doesn't need a coffee break, and frankly, it's often way better than a rookie. And just like that, a huge, gaping training gap starts to open up.
And if you want a high-stakes example, just look at surgery. Robotic surgery is amazing, right? But there's only one joystick, and guess who's holding it? The senior surgeon, of course. So the trainees, the residents, they're stuck just watching. They're not getting that crucial hands-on experience. It's gotten so bad that some are literally going to YouTube to try and learn procedures. That right there is the training gap in action.
Okay, so if AI is going to handle all the basic stuff, it kind of makes sense to think, great, I don't need to learn that anymore. I'll just let the machine handle it. But here's where things get really counterintuitive. It turns out the exact opposite is true.
This is what they call the paradox of knowledge. To actually be good at using AI, to ask it the right questions, to solve tough problems, and crucially, to spot when it's totally making stuff up, you need to have a whole bunch of facts already stored in your own head. You can't just outsource your brain. It actually makes you a worse thinker, not a better one.
And this is why it's so important. A newbie architect looks at an AI's building plan and has no idea if it's brilliant or a total disaster. But the expert, she sees the flaws instantly. The future isn't about just letting AI run the show. It's about you being the expert, the essential human in the loop.
So if we need this human expertise more than ever, how do we get it? For years, we've all heard about the 10,000-hour rule, right? Just put in the time. But it turns out that's not the whole story. It's not about how much you practice. It's about how you practice.
The secret sauce is something called deliberate practice. And this is not just mindlessly doing the same thing over and over. This is focused, difficult work. You're constantly pushing yourself just beyond your comfort zone. And this is the key part, you're getting constant, specific feedback from a coach who knows what they're doing. It's tough, it's not always fun, but man, is it effective.
Well, let me make this super clear. Let's say you have two piano students. Sophie just plays the song she already knows, over and over. It feels like she's practicing, but she's not really getting any better. Then you have Naomi. She's working with her teacher on a really hard new piece, getting corrected on every little mistake. Who do you think is going to be the better player in a month? It's not even close, right? That's deliberate practice.
But, and this has always been the huge problem, deliberate practice needs a great coach. And great coaches, they're hard to find, they're expensive, and they only have so many hours in the day. This has always been the bottleneck, the thing that's kept most of us from ever reaching true mastery in anything.
And here's where our whole story just flips on its head. That same AI that's creating the training gap, what if it could also solve the coaching bottleneck? What if the villain of our story is actually the hero?
Okay, let's go back to our architects. Alex gets feedback from his boss, maybe once a week if he's lucky. His skills improve, but slowly. Now look at his colleague Raj. Raj uses an AI assistant. Every single time he finishes a design, the AI is right there, giving him instant feedback. It's pointing out weaknesses, suggesting better materials. It's like having a world-class mentor sitting on his shoulder 24/7. Raj isn't just practicing more, he's practicing smarter.
And this is already happening. At Wharton Business School, they built this incredible AI system to teach students how to pitch ideas. One AI teaches you the basics, a second one pretends to be a tough venture capitalist that you have to pitch to. A third AI is secretly watching and grading you, and a fourth AI acts as your mentor, helping you figure out what you did right and wrong. It's the entire deliberate practice loop, all run by AI. It's amazing.
So AI can be this incredible personal coach, but think about the implications. What happens when everyone has a world-class coach in their pocket? Well, something really fascinating happens. AI doesn't just make the best people better. It has this massive leveling effect.
And this isn't just a theory. Look at this. A study at Boston Consulting Group found that before AI, there was a pretty big 22% performance gap between their top consultants and their bottom performers. But then they gave everyone GPT-4. And that gap? It shrinks all the way down to just 4%. Think about that. The AI didn't just give the top folks a little boost, it pulled everyone else way up, almost completely leveling the playing field. It's incredible.
And you see this everywhere. Creative writing, law school. AI helps the people at the bottom catch up to the people at the top. The effect is so powerful. One CEO said he thinks he'll soon only need 20% of his engineers, and that he could hire them straight out of high school because the AI would coach them up so fast.
So, this brings us to a really big, kinda scary question. If AI can make an average person good and a good person great, what's the point of becoming an expert anymore? I mean, is expertise even a thing if everyone has a super coach?
So, is expertise dead?
No, absolutely not. But our whole idea of what an expert is, oh yeah, that is about to change. Completely.
What we're seeing is the beginning of a new kind of expert. You could call them a cyborg expert. This isn't a person who knows everything in their own head. It's a person whose unique talent is working with AI. They combine their human intuition with the machine's raw power to do things neither one could ever do alone.
So the most valuable skill is changing. It's not just about what you know anymore. It's about how well you can use what you know to guide an AI. The new rock stars, the new experts, they're going to be the ones who are masters of this collaboration, the ones who can make the AI, as one person put it, dance to their tune.
So what does all this mean for you, for me, for all of us? Well, a few things. First, don't stop learning. You still need that foundation of knowledge in your own brain. Second, find a niche. Go deep on something and become a real human expert in it. And third, start playing with AI now. Don't just see it as a fancy Google. See it as a partner, a co-intelligence, and learn how to work with it.
This whole thing isn't really about humans versus machines. It's about a future of human-machine partnership. And our value, our expertise, is going to come from how well we can lead that dance. So the big question we all have to ask ourselves is, what are we going to do to become that indispensable human in the loop?